How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. I was not at all happy with the last video that I made, so I'm going to redo it. We are remaking The Worst No-Pull Training Method for Dogs, Reviewing American Standard Dog Training by Dr. Orion, the veterinarian. So this is take 2. We're going to be civilized and do it by the books. So thank you for everybody's kind words and understanding. Let's get started.
Warning, today I'm going to be reviewing a video from the American Standard Dog Training. This is their most viewed video and I have a lot to say about it, but it's not easy to watch. I mean, if you care about dogs.
Agreed. It is not easy to watch, but we're going to do our best to just look at it with a calm, cool mind.
Puppy board and train program.
That's already a mistake. Although it sounds great, you can send your dog to a camp, like a summer camp or something like that, and it comes back all trained. That's not how it works. The thing is that your dog might be trained with the professional trainer in that specific location, but once you get him back at your house, at your environment, all of that training might go down the drain.
Absolutely.
You, as the dog owner, need to do the training. I am Dr. Orion, a veterinarian and a veterinary behavior residency graduate.
Today is the day.
Oh, very, very cool. Interesting. So, yeah, a lot of people really like him. I like his work. I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but from what I've seen, I definitely enjoy it. First thing I notice, obviously prong collar, cute little Cane Corso here. And he said it was a puppy board and train. So I wonder how old this dog is. Maybe, I would say maximum up to 6 months. Just based on size alone, I feel like this could be a younger puppy. Very, very cute, but he already has a tight grip. You know, he has this looped around his hand, which can be a dangerous thing because if the dog really pulls hard, they can drag you down. Your hand can get caught in this leash, as well as it also shows that he has a tight grip when he pops this dog with the prong collar.
Where he's going to learn how to walk.
Also, he has sunglasses on. I don't like to wear sunglasses when working with a dog. Because I want them to be able to see my eyes. I can't see it from the camera point of view, so this dog certainly cannot see his eyes.
Much better on a leash because he pulls really bad and he's on a mission to do whatever it is he thinks he wants to do.
The dog is not on any mission. Yeah, he might think he can do whatever he wants to do because he wasn't trained. He wasn't taught anything else.
I find it interesting that Garrett, you know, the person of American Standard Dog Training, how he says, you know, the dog is going to do whatever he thinks he wants to do. I don't think the dog thinks he wants to do anything. I think he just does. Like, you think you want to go smell this bush, but you really don't. Like, don't try to tell us what you want the dog to think.
But he's definitely not on a mission. But it is a good thing that they're starting the training when he's still a puppy, which makes it easier.
Now he is hooked up to a Hermspringer prong collar, but just hooking a dog up to a prong collar doesn't always just solve your issue.
Doesn't always just solves your issues. Well, it actually never solves your issues. Prong collar or anything that was meant to hurt the dog is not a good way to train the dog. Now I know, many people that like this trainer or like any trainer that uses shock collars or uses prong collars or anything like that will come and start attacking me. Yes, let's see you train a dog like this. That's
exactly. They say the same thing to me. You don't have to be able to prove, you don't have to prove anything to these people, which I think is the mistake that I have made so much in the past, including the last video, that I don't have anything to prove to these people. I don't need you don't need to get nasty, you know, by any means to try to prove your point. In fact, if you do the opposite and you try to remain, you know, just cool, calm, and collected, you get far more progress with honey than you do vinegar. You get a lot more bees with honey than you do vinegar.
Pulling without a prong collar, or they will say, no, a prong collar doesn't hurt. It definitely hurts, even if you're using it correctly.
It does absolutely hurt. This is a video of myself with a Hermspringer on myself. I have a leash tied to the door handle. This is a couple of years old. But this is just going to show you exactly how much they hurt and how that dog might have felt when Garrett Wing gives him a couple of these corrections that we see in the video later on.
This is a Hermspringer.
It has 2 links off of it. So it's not loose.
I
It's
put it up as high and snug as I could.
properly fitted. I have a leash attached to it. This leash is attached to the door. Here I am walking. You can see it's tight, it's going to connect.
By the way, don't try this at home. Leave this to the dumb, stupid professional to do it, to show you an example of what it looks like and feels like on a human. Please don't try this at home.
If I were a dog and I were just walking, I didn't know I was going to hit the end of this. God dang it. Okay, so
that was with a prong collar. And I'm going to show you the redness here after the fact.
this is what happens with the prong collar. Okay, that redness.
From that little bit of having it on myself. So as a human, I can say that yes, prong collars absolutely hurt. And that was just me walking to the end of a leash tied to a door. That wasn't somebody else giving a level 10 correction.
Otherwise, it wouldn't work. And even when it doesn't hurt that much, the dog remembers when you used it in a painful way. So basically,
Absolutely.
the dog has a constant reminder of something that hurts, which makes him afraid of you, which makes him afraid all the time. So yeah, he might not show the behavior, but that's not the way to go. That's not the way
Exactly.
to live with your dog, to have a dog that's afraid of you.
You
And if
tell
you
him.
don't believe me,
Tell
I'm
him,
going to
Dr.
leave
Orion.
a link in the comments to a position statement on aversive training that also has sites and references to scientific studies.
Okay, so this is the position statement. You can pause and read. All that good stuff. Or you can go, I will make sure to keep the link of this in the description of my video as well. Or you can go to his video here and go into his description as well. So we always want to support good stuff.
There are actually many more newer studies that weren't included in that one because it's already a few years old.
See how far out on the line he is? You got to ask yourself, am I walking him or is he walking me right now?
You should be
I'm
walking
not asking
together.
that. You are walking together.
The prong
Hey!
collar's getting
I actually did not know that he was going to say that. Although I've seen this once before, I don't remember everything that's been said.
rid of a little bit of the pulling, but he's still pulling. He's still way out front, doing whatever it is he thinks he wants to do.
And that's actually
He's
very
being a
common.
dog.
The prong collar by itself, if it doesn't cause enough pain, it's not going to work. I see so many dogs that their owners are convinced that the prong collar is the only thing that will save them from having a dog pulling them. But I'm asking them, and wait, does it actually work? And they're like, no, actually no, he's still pulling even with the prong. So again, if you want the prong to work, you need to hurt the dog. If it doesn't hurt him or if it doesn't associate it with previous pain that he felt by it, it's not going to work. It's just going to keep causing him some discomfort and actually make it a lot worse.
He's not being horrible, but
He's
this
being
is far from
perfectly
what we
fine.
would
I've
call
worked with dogs that have pulled so much harder than that, even on a prong collar.
loose leash walking, because there's nothing
If you
loose.
put your hand down a little bit lower, then it would be a little bit looser. This is a clip of me using pressure and release to get my dog to move into the pressure on the leash. He doesn't have a prong collar and he has a regular flat buckle collar. Just something that simple and soft. And he moves into it. So this is an example of using pressure and release when I'm teaching my dog to give into the leash. I will leave a link to my own video up here, as well as it's always in every description of every video I make, so you can see the difference between how I would do it and how Garrett Wing would do it, and possibly how Dr. Orion might do it.
About it.
There's nothing loose about it because he doesn't know how to walk with a loose leash.
And Garrett's taking in all the slack that there might be.
So it's more technique and timing than it is power.
So
but you do
pull,
need to have a
pull,
little bit of
pull,
oomph
correction,
behind it.
correction. Although the dog may not be yelping, to me that's a correction because you're pulling it tight on the dog. You're maneuvering the dog in a position you want them to be in. That, to me, is a level of correction.
It's more technique than power
but you need to have a little bit of oomph, meaning that you need to have power behind it. Make up your mind.
And I can't stress this enough. You are not
Look at how when he walks, how his hand is loud and it goes back as if he's trying to pop the dog, but there's nothing to connect.
pulling the dog to catch up to you. You're simply popping it, popping the leash. It should look like this. All right? Boom. So the line
Correction.
must be slack before you pop it.
Runs into the dog.
Did you notice how while he was demonstrating the popping, he was actually pulling on the dog's neck?
Mm-hmm.
The dog is so confused, doesn't know what to do. So he goes to his default, probably the only or one of the only cues that he knows, and sits down. Kind of like, I don't know what to do. Someone is hurting me. I'm going to sit down.
He's trying to relieve pressure.
Hopefully, that will stop that pulling. That will stop that popping.
Exactly.
I'll show you how you can ease him into it, and that's going to be give him a little.
So the way he really grips on this, I always want to say neoprene, but it's biothane leash, which I love a good biothane leash. Just not, when it gives you a good grip, but I don't like it when connected to the end of any corrective collar.
bit of pop like this.
And look how that was unnecessary. That was a drag. That was a drag, not a pop.
And let him know, hey, if you come to me, when you feel a pop and you come to me, you'll get paid.
But he doesn't continue to pay him afterwards. Afterwards, he stops paying him, and he's just using regular kibble, so it's not really fair to the dog. Just take out the middleman. You don't need to... I don't use treats or food on my walks when I'm teaching a dog, and I teach them in a harness that clips on the back. You can use food if you want to. I'm certainly not against it, but I'm just saying that even I don't use that when walking a dog on a loose leash.
It's kind of a way you'd have to do a ton of reps of that.
So you have to do a tons of reps, meaning you have to hurt your dog many times before you can actually get results. I keep hearing people saying that no, with the prong collar, you only need to do it like once or twice and that's it. Well, apparently it's not, even with a prong collar. I am all for reinforcing the dog coming to you or walking
Absolutely.
with a loose leash next to you. That's a good thing. But when you do both things, hurting the dog and then giving him a treat, many times it actually causes much more confusion and can make it even worse. The dog
Agreed.
doesn't really know what to do.
But it's still not quite corrective. That's not correcting him.
You can say it's not correcting. The dog tells us a different story because he's showing different behavior. So that shows that what you're doing is correcting the dog. Why did he sit earlier?
That's just a little tap on the shoulder saying, hey.
No. Mr. Man. A tap on the shoulder is literally a tap on the shoulder. This is a metal prong collar in the dog's throat with a leash connected to you. That's not a tap on the shoulder.
Hey, when you feel this,
Ouch.
if you come to me,
That was
there's
so
food.
unnecessary. He could have walked backwards without even popping the dog and rewarded them for that.
If it's not correcting him, or in another word, punishing him, then why use a prong collar? Why not use a regular collar? Why not just call the dog to come to you
Exactly.
and give him the treat for coming to you? Why do you have to use a prong?
If you hang out
That's
next
the
to me,
question of the day, Dr. Orion. That's absolutely the question of the day. But when the one tool in your toolbox is a hammer, you're going to view every problem as a nail. For him, the one tool in his toolbox is a prong collar and a shock collar or an e-collar. And he uses it on every dog. He uses a prong collar for sure on every dog. Every problem he has with a dog pulling, prong collar. A dog's aggressive, prong collar, shock collar. You don't want your dog to run out in the street, shock collar. The one tool he has in his toolbox is a hammer, and he fixes every problem like it's a nail.
you get paid. Yes, it helps if the dog's hungry.
That was
Helps if
good
you have-
timing. People say he has great timing. I don't watch him enough. I don't think he has great timing, but I can't really... From what I've seen, I don't think he has great timing.
high value treats. This is just kibble.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. That's actually the way to go. This is how you train a dog to walk next to you.
But
Absolutely.
eventually down the road, I don't want to have treats on me just to go for a walk.
Like I said before, I teach a dog to walk on a loose leash without using treats or food. Unless we're working on reactivity or something else, then that's different.
So you prefer not giving the dog treats when you have to go on a walk, but you're fine with keep punishing the dog and having the prong collar on the dog all the time. Why is
Exactly.
that better? Also, when you do a reward-based training, you actually don't need to have treats on you all the time. Usually, once the dog knows the behavior, he knows the behavior. You don't need to always reinforce it. The same as like maybe not having to always punish the dog. The big
Exactly.
difference is that when the dog is motivated by avoiding the punishment, he's in stress. When the dog is motivated by receiving a reward, he's happy.
Again, I'm easing him into it, but eventually we're going to give him what we would call the hammer stroke.
I'm confused.
Anybody who calls anything, any kind of correction, a hammer stroke, I would run far away from them.
If it worked so well with the tap on the shoulder, like he called it, with the little pop that's not corrective,
Mm-hmm.
why hitting him with a hammer? Why doing a hammer stroke?
Ouch. He calls it correction number 1. It's probably correction 5 or 6 or 7 by now. By the little bits that he has moved the dog around with his little shoulder tap or whatever you want to call it.
Not correction. It's just plain hurting the dog.
Typically, I like to get a little, hey.
Oh, so he likes to hear the yelp. Abuser.
Means the message was delivered. Good boy.
What?
And he said, I'm not even laughing because it's funny. It's just so unbelievable. But earlier he says, you should use high value treats, but I'm just using regular kibble. So that means that the dog is not really even getting rewarded.
He basically said that he liked hurting the dog.
He does.
Oh, man.
Oh, I heard a verbal or an auditory, like he choked the dog there. And this is a puppy. That's why people like this abuse animals, when very powerful animals, when they're small and young, so that you can mentally manipulate them. So when they're adults, they don't even try anything with you. It's like if you took a wolf as a puppy, or you take a zebra, which is, not the easiest creature to work with, especially not with force. You have to take them, or I've heard you have to take them from their mother, the second they hit the ground. Otherwise you're not going to be able to work with them when they're a full adult, because they are a wild animal. They are a zebra. In this case, this is a dog that has been domesticated over tens of thousands of years. And this is a young puppy and a very powerful dog that probably would never even think to hurt a fly. But just to make sure, we're going to abuse him when he's young and manipulate him when he's young and overpower him when he's young, so he doesn't even think twice.
Poor dog, and the dog doesn't even understand why he's being punished.
I don't want to be standing here looking at him. I just want him to, in his mind, go, ow, that hurt. What was it? Oh, man, the guy's walking the other way.
Oh, gee willikers. Oh, gosh. Well, gosh, dang it. That guy he just got away from me. Ouch. That hurt, but oh, gee. Golly gee, he got away from me. The way he acts like it. Dude, you are a piece of work.
That's about what the dog will be thinking. Like, ow, that hurts. Why did the guy hurt me? You think that the dog doesn't know that it's you that's hurting him? Oh, he definitely does.
The dog also knows it's the collar that hurts him.
It's not about the quantity of reps on this, it's the quality. Here comes another one. This one's going to be a little more significant.
Oh my gosh. This is why I can't watch this guy. American Standard Dog Training, which this should not be anywhere near the American standard or any standard of dog training, period. This is total BS. But this is why I can't watch him, because I get so amped up that I end up making things personal. And it's not personal, but, do you think the dog's not going to take that personal?
It hurts me to watch it.
Same.
I can't believe how people still do these things when we know that that's not the way to go. We have science that shows it.
And common sense. And empathy. But so many people lack those values and morals That they see this abuse in the name of training and they say, okay, it's not abuse, because nobody wants to admit that they're abusing an animal by causing it to yelp out in pain by using a metal prong collar around their throat.
We know that punishment can make things worse. It will only teach the dog that if you're there, he might be punished, and that he should hide all of those behaviors that he's being punished for doing. And then, for example, if there's, I don't know, a person or a dog that scares him, he might not pull, he might not lunge towards that person, but the second that the person is very close to him, he'll bite him without any warning, because he learned that he shouldn't show those behaviors.
Absolutely.
I know that hurt.
And I will say that I've done that back when I didn't know any better, and I listened to trainers just like this, compulsion trainers, yank and crank, old school, uneducated or outdated with their education, if they are educated at all, trainers like this. When I would correct Adonis, I went against my own beliefs and I used a prong collar on him because he pulled. And it made him more aggressive. It made him pull more. He yelped more. We would be in a fight. I've mentioned this on my channel before many times, that I caused a collapsing trachea in him that stayed with him until he was, until the day he died, until he was 12 years old. And I started working with him with a prong collar at 6 months old. I stopped after 5 months or 6 months of using it incorrectly, because they say, even on the tool itself says, if you give 2 or 3 repetitions and it doesn't change the behavior, stop using this tool. Or that's what I was always taught. But we upgraded from the choke chain to the prong collar, and it made Adonis's behavior so much worse. And funny enough, I found a PetSmart trainer that got us off of that nonsense, and from then on I fell in love with training, and the rest is history. But that's why I do what I do, to try to teach people you don't need to listen to this. This makes things worse. Trust me.
Hurt some of your feelings at home? Trust me when I tell you, this big boy will survive.
Yes.
Easy for you to say. You're just excusing your abuse. That's all you're doing.
So what? You can get shot and survive. Does that mean
exactly
that people need to shoot each other? And yeah, although it does hurt my feeling in some way, it hurts my feeling because I have empathy for the dog. Did you hear about it? Empathy?
I'd rather do it quick like Band-Aid and get it over with than be out here doing 100 U-turns.
But you're not doing it quick like a Band-Aid. You've already done probably 10 or 12 corrections already.
Yeah, only it's not quick like a Band-Aid, because Band-Aid you do only once.
Ah.
Good boy.
You see the dog?
Oh, good boy. The dog doesn't care about your good boy, dude. Just be quiet.
Doesn't know what to do when he's punishing him. So he goes to his default behavior, which is sitting down. And once he's sitting down, he reinforces him. So what is the dog learning? That every time he's being punished, he should sit down.
That's like someone punching you or slapping you and then giving you a dollar bill and saying, oh, or giving you a flower and saying, oh, I'm sorry, honey. The abusive husband or wife or person in a relationship, there's 2 people and one person's getting abused and the other person is being the abuser. They slap the other person and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I love you. Here, come give me a hug. And then 2 minutes later, they slap you again, or they grab you by the arm, or they push you down. And they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. That's exactly what's going on here.
Will that help you walk him?
And yeah, you may argue, oh, he's tired. That's why he's not pulling.
No, he's not pulling because he's afraid of you and it hurts. He's tired of getting corrected.
Maybe. Another reason is that he's scared. He's just scared of you. He doesn't know what to do. Because if he walks too fast, you pull him. If he's walking normally and you decide to do your U-turns, you hurt him.
If he were to target lock, if he were to do something he's not supposed to do.
Oh, now we have a reminder tap. So this is learned helplessness. This dog cannot do anything right because the human will always come up with some kind of way to trick the rules or add to the rules or change the game so, somehow. So that way they are still always able to be reinforced themselves for punishing the animal. Because correcting, for the punisher is reinforcing. It's rewarding for them. People look to correct something else. A teacher looks to correct the students because the teacher was corrected as a student herself or himself or themselves. Not saying that that's in every case, but in a lot of cases, not saying that's in every case, but in a lot of cases, it's rewarding to correct something or someone.
Before he even thinks about doing
He's
something
walking
silly,
here just
I'll
fine.
give a little pop
Stress
on the
panting. You can reward him here, but you're not going to.
leash. What does that pop look like? It's as if you're holding a hammer in your hand and nailing a nail
What is
into a
wrong
wall
with you?
somewhere here, somewhere in this range, anywhere from a 1 to a 10.
Again with the hammer?
That's not a reminder. That's just being abusive.
Dude, I think you picked the wrong profession. You should be
Seriously.
in construction.
Next step
Exactly.
would be to pair what we've done with the sudden stops and the U-turns and the reminders. Pair that classically conditioned, the same concept, with an E-collar.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. So he hasn't gotten enough pain and force and fear in this dog. Now he has to pair it with a shock collar. That shows his lack of skills and his lack of education and empathy and understanding of how to train an animal without these tools. He can't do it without it.
Well, it makes sense that he will also use e-collars. Also makes sense that he doesn't even know the terminology, because what he's doing is not classical conditioning. It's actually operant conditioning.
If you didn't like what I did, call 1-800-PETA.
Ah, so funny.
I'm not trying to play some BS like Zach George does. And
Don't be talking about Zach George. Zach George can train circles around you, my dude. And he doesn't even have to touch the dog.
6 weeks later, the dog's still pulling as bad, if not worse, than when the day we started.
Well, he's not abusive like you, so there's that.
So you're criticizing a different dog trainer that doesn't do the same techniques as you're doing without even knowing if whatever he did worked or didn't work. Well, karma is a bitch. Now I'm reviewing your techniques.
No.
Good on you, Dr. Orion. Man, I love this guy.
We're going to fix this in literally 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Well, you shouldn't, because if you take the time it takes less time. But I'm not a 5-minute trainer. If you're a 5-minute trainer and you're going to fix a hardcore pulling, I think it's abusive. If you're going to fix hardcore pulling in 5 minutes, depending on what you use, shock collar, prong collar, star mark collar, choke chain, slip lead, punch your dog, kick your dog, whatever. If you're going to train it out of them in 5, 10, or 15 minutes, then chances are that you are using force and pain and fear and intimidation and borderline or full-on being abusive with the animal. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you're not going to be fixing anything because the dog doesn't need fixing.
Exactly.
All it needs is teaching.
Exactly.
Is instructing. It's not that hard to train a dog not to pull on the leash.
It's
and
so
there's
easy.
So many good dog trainers on YouTube that will show
Absolutely.
you how. For example, Zach George that he doesn't like.
Exactly.
Or Kiko Pop.
Yes.
And many, many more. Check out that position statement that I mentioned. And if you want to see me reviewing Zach George's video, check this out.
Right on. So if you're interested in subscribing to Dr. Orion, the veterinarian, then be sure to do so. I think this video was great. I think he did a great job on it. Maybe next time, if you're interested in seeing, then I would go over Dr. Orion's video of him reviewing Zach George. That is an adorable little puppy. It looks like a little lazy eye, but super duper cute. Thanks for watching. Hope you all are doing well. Go say howdy do to your little critters. Say howdy do for me. Give them some kind of love and they appreciate. Until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.